Okay, right. So mass transfer perpindahan massa is our last topics. I'll give some examples. This one and then maybe just the concept. The concept would be more about this is very simple mass transfer to give an idea. The first one we have two cases, for example. The first one, you have tea. You have a teh celup, yeah, a tea with hot water, and then just and then you add sugar. This is the first case, but you don't stir it. Just leave it like that. Okay. The second one, you have tea, teh celup, and also just the room temperature water, and then with added sugar as well. Don't stir it. And the last one, the third case, you have uh, a cup of hot water, add with tea, teh celup, and sugar, and then you stir it. Okay, so which one is faster? Which one is faster to get the tea would be uniform and also sweet?
When you stir.
Yeah, the last one, of course, when you have hot water and you have to stir it. Okay. The second case, when you have only tea, teh celup, water, and at room temperature, what happens is, and then you just leave it like that, and sugar, maybe it will take few hours or maybe until tomorrow until the water is getting sweet. That's because all the molecule, when they want to move, they move it molecularly. So molecularly of this is called the molecular mass transfer. Similar to the heat transfer, there are molecular side, there are the convective sides. Okay. Now the how fast the molecule move because of their mass transfer is a function of temperature. That's why when you have hot water and then you just leave the maybe the glass the sugar into the water, maybe in a few hours it will sweet already. Rather in if it is in a low is in the maybe room temperature, maybe it can take days to get sweet. Okay, because if you have a hot temperature or if you have your high temperature, what happens is your molecule would be have a higher kinetic energy and it will easy to collide each other and easy to move. Yeah, so that is the diffusivity. And the last one, if you stir it, then is the convective there. There is a velocity of it. And then would be a molecular mass diffusion and also the convective of mass diffusion. Okay? Now let's explain the quantity. Now, what we're gonna look at here now is we will thinking about mixture, but the mixture only have two components, which is the binary mass transfer. The three component, the multi-component mass transfer in this case, it will not discuss. Okay, so there are two components. So let's say we have a components. There's A and also the B. Maybe like that one. Usually, A is, we call it solute, and then B is solvent. Yeah, sometimes we say with that one. Right. Okay, so the first one, because we have two components, A and B, we will introduce the first one is called the mass concentration. The mass concentration, rho I, is the mass of the I divided by the volume of the mixture. So rho A is the mass of the A divided of the volume, the total volume. And then rho B is the mass of the B divided by the rho volume. Okay. But in molar concentration, then we introduce a C, of course, yeah, which is the mole A. So Ca divided by the V, and CB is the mole B divided by the V. Okay. So then for the binary mixture, there are component A, this one is the mass base and this is a molar base. So in the mass transfer, they always choose base. Would be similar to the absorption. Yeah, if you remember, in the heat in the separation process, there are mass base and also there's a molar base. The mass base is from the density and also molar base from the concentration. And if you add the rho A plus rho B, that would be equal to MA plus volume plus MB plus volume would be A plus MB plus volume, which is M of the mixture for volume, which is the, yeah. And that's also the same when you have a cup of, if you have the composition of A plus composition of B, you will end up the concentration. Okay, so make sure you know the difference between rho A, rho B, and also rho of the mixture, and also concentration of the mixture A. Let's say, this is an example. Let's say I have 0.5 mole A, and I have 0.5 mole B. And 1 liter of solution on floater solution. My question: what is rho A? As what is Ca? Would be 0.5 divided by 1. Yeah, so 0.5. What is Cb? The concentration of B, 0.5 mole divided by 1 liter, which is 0.5. But if you add them together, that would be the concentration of all. So the C total would be 1 molar. Yeah, like that. It's also the same with the flow. Okay, the next one. Open this up. Okay, so now, sometimes the concentration is written as a fraction, especially for binary component. We can write the mass fraction as omega A and X fraction as XA. So since we know that for the mass fraction, rho A plus rho B equal to rho, so that means this is equal to omega A multiply the fraction, mass fraction, multiply with rho total plus omega B mass fraction B multiply with rho, which is equal to rho. Or we can say the mass fraction of A plus the mass fraction of B would be equal to 1. Yeah, it's also the same with X. XA, because we know that Ca plus Cb equal to a concentration, yeah, all of them. So we can say Xa multiply with the concentration total plus Xb multiply with concentration total equal to all the concentration total. So Xa plus Xb equal to 1. Or we can say Xb is equal to 1 minus Xa. Or we can say omega B equal to 1 minus Xa. This is for binary. Remember, we can use these sides. Yeah. So then we have this one, yeah, that I explained to you already in mass unit and also in molar unit. Okay, this is the explanation. Okay, now let me explain about a Fick's law. In momentum, always talking about that one, we have Newton's, which is mu yx, Tahu ya? Which is tau Yx equal to minus mu d V x over dy. Yeah. Fourier's law, q x equal to minus k dt over dx. Now the last one is Fick's law. So Fick's law describes the quantification of mass transfer of components in its mixture. The rate of mass transfer component corresponds to driving force, which is concentration gradient, and reverse to its distance. So this is the concentration gradients, and this is also reverse to distance. Yeah. So here, the Fick's law, we called it J. Small j for mass, capital J for mole. So be sure you know what to reverse to. If you thinking about mole, you can make it all of in capital. If you're thinking about mass, then you put it in just the J. Okay, so this is your molecular mass flux. Yeah, molecular mass flux. And then the constant property of components. So currently JA equal to minus DAB divided by d rho A over dc. The same, yeah. So let me write it here. Put it back inside over here. So for Fick's law, in a sense, would be J A equal to minus, the quantity is now DAB, the parameter. Okay, and then this is D, because this is mass, D rho A over DC. Again, distance, distance, distance. Or in a mole, you have a JA minus DAB, DCA, the concentration, or dx. So this is called the molecular flux. Yeah. So this is a constant diffusion coefficient, so that becomes like this one. Yeah. Or if you want to subtract, if you only know the fraction, then you can take this one, because you know that rho A equal to rho multiply omega A. So then you can over that one. Or if you, because you know Ca equal to concentration multiply with Xa, and then rho is constant, so you can take it out the rho. C also constant, you can take out rho of the differentiation. It would be like this one. And this shows the mass transfer of A in mixture of AB in molecular, which is the medium diam, which is a stationary medium. That means if you have a water and then you put the sugar in, okay, you can say this one, a sugar is A, and then water is B, and then the medium is stationary diam, dia nggak diapain, then the rate of the sugar can dissolve and then spreading follows this Fick's law. And this Fick's law, we call it hukum Fick satu, or the first Fick's. Why it is called Fick's law number one? Because we have second Fick's law in a medium bergerak. If we consider the, for example, in flowing water, something like that. Okay. Now getting a little bit trickier. here's the thing. I have a case. A case maybe on a train. Okay, the train, yeah. Let's say ada train, and then gerbong-gerbong gitu ya. Sorry. I walk. So there is saya ada orang. I walk, let's say 1 kilometer per hour. The train ada yang pertama diam, which is 0 kilometer per hour. And then the one let's say whoosh ya, atau or maybe on speed. Let's say 200 kilometer per hour. Okay. My question is, let's say, or maybe 350 ya, 350 because it's whoosh, let's say. From Bandung to Halim, Jakarta. Okay. If I saw it from Bandung and then on the train running, like trainnya lagi jalan, and then I walk from here dari gerbong belakang ke gerbong depan, I walk from over here ya, from the last carriage to the front one with 1 kilometer per hour. What do you think my speed with respect to Kota Bandung? Berapa? 1 kilometer or 300 kilometer? I walk on the train on a high speed. First case. Pertama ya, the first case, keretanya belum jalan. The train is still stationary. I walk 1 kilometer per hour. Jadi keretanya masih di Bandung. Saya masih di stasiun Bandung. I walk 1 kilometer per hour. My question is, what is my velocity with respect to Bandung? Berapa kecepatan saya kalau dilihat dari kota Bandung? Berapa?
1 kilometer per hour ya, Bu?
Ya, 1 kilometer per hour, ya kan? Oke, itu pertama. Karena VB-nya 0. Karena yang keduanya dia nggak ada. The next one, the train is running with 350 km per hour, tapi saya jalan 1 km per hour ke sana. Kira-kira berapa kecepatannya? With respect to Bandung. Satu kilometer, 1 kilometer or 350 kilometer? 350, karena saya ada di dalam kereta, ya. Because we're inside the train. So that's the thing. So in a mixture, in a pergerakan mixture, we have a component A with a velocity of VA, which is me. And we also have a component B, which is the solution with kecepatan B, also maybe with a steering. Maybe I can go backward dari depan ke belakang. Okay, so that's my VA is negative, for example. So A and B, the velocity is not the same. It can be in different arrow. So then we have to find the kecepatan medium or maybe kecepatan campuran. Berapa rata-rata dari kecepatan A and B? And how to calculate that one is this one. So the kecepatan medium, the kecepatan rata-rata, which means the velocity multiplied with the concentration. So the concentration of me and also the train, yeah, which is I'm very, very small compared to the whoosh, for example. Okay, so now this is your, so if you calculate what is the mass average velocity of the whoosh, for example, so that means all of your A, for example, this is all human, yeah, and B is all the remaining inside the whoosh, for example. So we can calculate, for example, the density of A and density of B, and then the respect to the velocity and multiply of both density A and density B. So this is the average velocity. Okay, with the same, it's also the same with we can get the molar average velocity, which is V star, bar, which is CA multiplied with the velocity, and VB and divided by CA plus CB. Okay, so so because if I have a whoosh train 350 and also walk 1 kilometer per hour, this is me, this is train. My component I, actually, it should be this one sebenarnya. This one divide by V, minus V with the kecepatan medium. Okay, so that means if we calculate the kecepatan medium or maybe around 350 ya. Jadi sebenarnya the kecepatan komponen I ini sebenarnya very small sebenarnya ya. Harusnya karena dia kecepatan dia itu yang dia hitung di sini, which is around 350, dikurangi dengan kecepatan medium, karena mediumnya tadi juga cepat banget, just 350, almost ya sama gitu ya. So very small. Yeah. So even though it is stirred, the component I is actually very small one. Okay. What does it mean? Why I would like to explain this one? I want to show you that the second fix, the second fix of law, we call it NA. Small NA to Z is for mass, and also capital NaZ for molar. Flux atas dasar diam. Flux atas dasar acuan diam. So that means this one only think about the molecule without any thinking about the velocity, but this one think about the acuan diam tadi atas dasar Bandung tadi. Okay, so it calculate that one. And this one, this NaZ, is defined as this one. The flux, yeah, the concentration of the elements multiplied with the velocity of the this one, of the your velocity. So JA, this is only the molecular. Small j, only think about the element. Yeah, but this one is only think with all acuan diam. Jadi kalau yang tadi in the case of whoosh, ini dia kalau J ini dia hanya pakai kecepatan dia tadi yang kecepatan tadi saya jalan 350 lebih dikurangi tadi 350 misalnya ya, very small kecil seperti J. Tapi kalau N ini lihat dari dasar diam, acuan diamnya which is the Bandung tadi. Kalau dari Bandung, and then I'm looking at my GPS ya, misalkan jadi GPS dilihat dari kota Bandung, I move fast enough, 350 gitu ya. Ini dari yang tadi, pakai VA yang tadi yang 350 yang besar. Okay, so that would be the difference. JA is only element di dalam kereta, but this one atas acuan diam from the beginning. Okay, or in the case of water, I would say, if you steer it, misalkan dia muter gini ya, NA thinking about how it moving from this one to that one, how it move from, misalkan dia muter ya, dia how it move ke sini, ini NA, ya, dia putar seberapa jauh, very fast. Tapi kalau si JA only thinking sebenarnya dia yang bergerak karena molekular tuh apa? Mungkin cuma segini. Karena sisanya terbawa oleh the velocity of the solution solvent. Karena diaduk. Okay? Hopefully it takes a while, but if you still don't understand, let's discuss it later. Okay, so how to get the relationship between JA and NA tadi ya? Tadi NA muter banget karena atas H1 diam dari sini tadi NA. Okay, well JA sebenarnya yang bergerak karena molekulernya. Ya. So we have a correlation between NA JA. So this is a correlation between NA and JA. So NA is actually JA plus XA plus NA plus NB, or a small one with the omega. So this is the flux acuandium, and this one is a molecular flux. This shows you molecular one, and this shows you about the convective one. So the contribution from the molecular one and the contribution of the convective one. Okay, so when you solve it, you have to get the correlation between NA and NB. This is called the hukum fix 2. Yeah. Now, how to get NA and NB? Let's say, I will explain. Yeah. So maybe example. Just give to sum up for today because it's more than 9 o'clock. I'll just sum up. For example, you have water or maybe perfume. And this is air. Terus dia menguap. Ya, Na-nya nguap ke atas. Nah, what is correlation between Na and Nb? Apa hubungan antara Na and Nb? Nb itu adalah dia bergerak nggak? Udara di sini bergerak nggak dia? Atau dia diem? Kalau bergerak itu kalau ada angin. If you think that NB is moving, if you have a fan, if you have wind, that is moving. If there's a flow, there's a moving. Over here, the air, udara, is it moving or not? Bergerak nggak airnya, udara, the air?
No.
No, yeah, it's not moving because it just stay. Na, is it moving because of the evaporation? Yes, and you have Na. So your correlation between Na, so you have Na, but you don't have Nb. So your correlation for this case of this one, so Na equal to Ja plus Xa, Na plus Nb. And then your NB is equal to 0 because you don't have NB, because B is not moving here. So then your correlation now become Na equal to Ja plus Xa Na. Yeah, and then if you want to increase the sum up, just I'll put it like that one. So maybe you can put inside to the other side. So Na 1 minus Xa equal to Ja. So then you can get also the correlation Na equal to 1 over Xa multiplied with Ja. Yeah, and then you can just solve the Ja because Ja is minus Xa minus c dxa over dz, for example, and then you can solve it. Okay, this is just okay. I think this would conclude our talk. This is just a concept that maybe you need to think about again when you saw some question. On the Friday, I will give another video explaining one or two about how to solve the problem, and I will just give some other exercise. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you for listening. And then I'll see you again next week.